All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Either happy Sunday evening or welcome Monday morning. Whenever you're watching this, welcome. It's the start of a new week, and we have a Monday market report for the week ending June 26th, 2022. Kind of call it the official first Monday market report for the summertime. Summer started on the 21st as usual. So that effectively makes this one kind of like the first report out where we take a look at some of these modern graded post 1900 era of graded coins. Well, it's playing like it's not summer because this list is truly ridiculous, if not fascinating, for a number of reasons. We're going to see just some of the big beastly coins that did sell this week. All courtesy of greatcollections.com is where we grabbed all the market data for this week's show. So these coins all sold within the week. Sunday night, these listings end, and that's where we're able to pull some of the realized price values of these coins, and it's pretty crazy. Just looking at the list, we got 20 coins to talk about today. Which is pretty heavy considering the season. Again, I thought maybe it was a 50-50 shot that we were going to see some sort of calming down in the marketplace, in the midst of this crazy kind of like worldwide economic thing happening right now. At the same time, it's no big surprise because people do need to park money in stable commodities and asset classes. Coins is right up there. I mean, it's like the top 1% of those type of assets that you would want to put money in and park it there for a while we're battling this inflation deal. So just a marquee list, a lot of great PCGS and NGC graded coins to talk about. So we're going to get started here momentarily. But before we do, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the views and support throughout the years. The Monday Market Report videos has been, bar none, one of the most talked about videos. Lots of comments. A lot of people love this particular segment I do every week, and I've been going strong for over 3 years doing this report. So thank you for all the support of these report videos. Second of all, again, all of the realized sales coming from Great Collections for all of your consignment needs. They are probably one of the best in the business, way better than eBay, and you get just amazing concierge level service if you're looking to sell your coins out in the marketplace and get exactly what you deserve. So go ahead and check them out. Greatcollections.com. In addition, they're a great place to add some marquee pieces to your foundation of coins and currency. Always check them out. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in and see what we have rolling here this week. Wow, we have a 1969S doubled die obverse Lincoln Memorial set. Now, this represents kind of like the least you would expect for this particular coin. All right, it has its issues. It's not a straight graded coin. It's showing PCGS genuine with edge damage. You could see that pretty clearly on the reverse there. See where the word 1 is on 1 cent. Yeah, this thing's a beater. But make no mistake about it. It's always going to live as being probably one of the top 3 varieties that you can find today. And I'm happy to say that even in this condition, it's still managed to draw in a really hefty market. This one right here ended up selling for $10,055.25. You can't really get any cheaper than a coin that looks like this. Of course, you're spending that kind of money. Always expect the best, but with the best comes a much higher price tag for sure. But good to see one of these on here in this kind of condition, so that way you guys are aware that they do exist in this particular condition state where there's actual damage and it's not the perfect piece. But when someone is looking for one on a budget, you can't really go wrong with this here. The next one that we have here is actually a decent looking coin. 1957 Lincoln Wheat Cent is actually a proof strike, and this one, as you can tell, is a proof 68 red with a little bit of cameo on there, as designated on the NGC slab label. You can see some of that cameo frost on the obverse of the coin really well, and you do have some on the wheat stalks on the reverse. While not the deepest and most brightest or contrasting of cameos, this one right here is what you can expect to find in probably about 2% of the entire run of 57 proof set coins, which is still quite scarce. Don't get me wrong. But, you definitely don't want to overlook things like this. If you do have these proof sets, for a while, they used to be very affordable. Now they're up there between $30 and $40 a set. So they're still going up, and still a very challenging coin to find. This one right here sold for $1,369.12. And one of my favorite varieties, I actually own a few of these, not quite to this particular grade level. This thing is from another world. But this is the 1944 D over S over midmark Lincoln Wheat Cent. This is the big dog for 1944. Now there's two different FS5, this one's a 501, but there's also a 502. Two very well known over mint marks. This is the biggest one out of the two. This one ended up as a PCGS Mid-State 66 red. Little kind of a blemish that personally, it's a give and take thing. The carbon spot there on the reverse kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. But when you're looking for the best of the best in terms of Lincoln Cent varieties, sometimes you'll take what you can get. And this one actually had quite a bit of market bidding on here at $1,687.50. Now, this is going to be my least favorite coin of the bunch, and I'm still shaking my head as to why this one graded Mid-State 68 through PCGS. It was in a little bit older PCGS holder, so some of these white spots and stuff that you see on the coin probably wasn't on there. So when it became sealed, the zinc coated steel composition coins will show these little blemishes really easily. So when there's a little moisture trapped in the slabs over time, and then you combine that with the heat and the cool factor of the environments, depending on where it's stored at, will create some of the things that you see here, unfortunately. But this is probably my least favorite Mid-State 68 that I've seen at all. I've seen some pretty nice ones. They all seem to sell for between like $2,000 to $3,000. This one ended up falling on the low end at $2,025. The steel cents are always going to live to be that popular type piece. So when one comes along, it is 68 or maybe even 67. People are still going to be drawn to these, much the same way that they're drawn to some other profile pieces in U.S. coinage. Now here's just an overall really tough kind of depression age of coinage. The roaring 20s decade of Lincolns in any grade state, mid-state wise, pretty tough. You've heard me say that probably a good 2 or 3 dozen times, so I'm reinforcing it times 30 this time around and doubling down on this 1926D, which is a pretty solid Mid-State 65 plus full red example. Probably looks a lot more red in hand than I would say the pictures indicate, but this is a tough one to find. You're not going to be able to just easily go to a coin shop and see one of these sitting in a 2x2 cardboard holder. They just don't exist. A lot of these were spent and used and abused during its day. Very few of them were ever saved in mid-state condition. As a matter of fact, there's probably no known BU rolls of any of these dates of 1920s Lincolns. This one right here ended up selling for $3,740.62. We're going to continuously see just absolutely strong market sales of any of these 1920s coins. And here's a really nice one that's not a Denver minted 1914. Instead, we have a San Francisco example here for you today. This one is full brown, as it looks. It's a Mid-State 65 through PCGS. It's also got a CAC green sticker, so it's double certified in a way, but also shows just little hints of blue toning on the obverse of the coin, which gives it that extra kind of originality that people look for. Just an overall tough grade right here, tough date, tough everything. You're not likely to see a lot of these out there. There's probably more 1914Ds in decent grades than there are S's. 5 years after the beginning of the Lincoln Cent series, I would say that a lot of these weren't traditionally saved. All right, kind of they lump into the 1920s Lincolns, and they were just used up. This one sold for $3,826.18. Kind of the price you pay for an original type coin or Lincoln Cent edition. A very high-end coin. And the final 1 cent denomination on the list today is going to be another really fantastic San Francisco minted Indian head cent. This is that bridge coin that ended up sharing, unfortunately, the same date as the 1909S Lincoln cents, both the standard and VDB types. So this was kind of the odd man out. People did forget about the 1909S Indian head cent for a while until the collector base got extremely strong in about the 1990s for Indian head cents. So this one right here features what I love. It's got that wood grainy pattern to the planchet. It's one of my favorite appearances of some of these earlier Lincolns and Indian head cents specifically. This one right here is a Mid-State 66 red-brown, also CAC green stickered as well. And as you would expect, it did sell for a premium at $6,437.24 this time around. I think we had the 1908S last week, so this is a pretty good kind of complement to that coin that we talked about. Now here's one right here that you wouldn't traditionally see on any list, but it's certainly worth a conversation because it's a pleasantly toned, and I would like to say probably album toned at this case. This looks like the type of coin that you would pull out of an old Dansko album. They always seem to leave kind of that yellowish with hints of magenta type toning on these nickel coins. This one right here, 86D. I mean, why is it even on the list? But obviously it's registry driven for this date. It's a Mid-State 67 full stepper. While at first glance it doesn't seem like a coin that's particularly tough to find with a full strike. So some of the distracting marks that plagued these mid-80s Jefferson nickels are apparent. The population reports just aren't that big and deep when it comes to full step 80s nickels. This one right here sold for $3,211.88, which is a very, very healthy number. And the same goes for this one, albeit a little bit older, and we're dipping into an era of Jefferson nickels where the strikes were particularly bad. 50s and 60s. So this one is socked right in the middle of the whole thing. It's a PCGS Mid-State 65 with full steps. Begrudgingly, it got full steps. I think probably I'd have to look at this in hand to make that determination myself. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not the owner, because I don't dabble in registry sets. That is a very deep ballpark of just money flying around, and this one right here is right in the thick of things. So this Philadelphia minted 60, certainly showing its shortcomings with lack of luster and just the overall just kind of like bad quality planchets that were the norm during that day. This one sold for $2,080.12. I guarantee it won't be the lowest value that we'll see on any of these 1960s nickels in the future. Now, this is a far contrast to the previous coin. This is a 1939S. Yeah, it's a little bit tougher, kind of date, but it's also worth mentioning that this has the upgraded engraved reverse, and that's what they call the reverse of 1940. So it's got much better engraved steps on Monticello. It's just an overall solid, well put together coin. Lots of luster. This thing is just beaming with all sorts of originality. Looks like it was minted yesterday, which is what I love about it. This one right here is a Mid-State 67 full steps. I mean, it's probably one of the big true trophies of the series. You're not going to get anything that is remotely close to what this one is in value. This one ended up selling for $7,312.50. You heard that right. $7 grandiose for this one. And we do have a few buffs. Buffaloes are being buffed today. 1937 seemed like a broken record here because I think we had, 36 that ended up very high on the list maybe 2 weeks ago. This one's a Mid-State 68. So a great compliment to a very high-end registry set of Buffalo nickels. It's a stunner. I'm having a hard time even trying to look for any distracting marks that would prove me otherwise of thinking that this is really a 68, but it sure enough is. This one sold for $6,187.50. There have been other examples that have hit close to that $10,000 mark. You would have to be probably a Mid-State 68 plus, or maybe a 68 with really nice toning. All right, that's going to be kind of your plus addition factors to the value of these things. Much like this one. Now, this one has some toning, but again, this is a date that is plagued with all sorts of quality control issues, okay? You can see just a lack of luster compared to the 37 we saw previously, but this 26S, man, is one of the key dates of the entire series, so you can't downplay this coin at all. That's a very wildly popular coin to collect into. Date-wise, in all grades, even low ball grades, man, are very, very, very pricey. So this one right here, Mid-State 64 plus. I mean, this is going to be the upper echelon of what you would expect to pay for any of these. Yeah, it's not a 66 or 67, but there's just not a lot of them. There really isn't. This is a unicorn staring us in the face. And it's a CAC green stickered coin as well. This one sold for $19,406.25. That is royalty right there, and the money backs it up. All right, we're on to the little itty-bitty 10-cent pieces. We got 1967 SMS Roosevelt dime. Obviously, this one would be on the list if and only if it has deep cameo contrast, and it sure does. It's right; it says so right there on the label. But you could see just the overall very nice frosty devices, offset by the nice dark fields, especially on the reverse of the coin. This one is a SP67 DCAM, as noted on the PCGS label. Very tough coin, much like some of those 1950s proof sets, where you're trying to, hit a home run with a deep cameo. SMS coins are quite that level as well. This one sold for $2,986.88. The market is irrational sometimes, but, the Roosevelt Dime series does have a dedicated collector base, and they are out there. Now, here's a coin that we don't talk about much because they are quite scarce, and the mintages are so minuscule on them. But heck, we have one here, 1937 Mercury dime proof. This is a proof coin, all right? So there's going to be quite the discrepancy in value between this and a Mid-State Unk coin, no doubt about it. This one is a proof 68 plus. That cameo contrast doesn't matter on any of these proof Mercury dimes. I have a 42 myself that I paid a few $100 for, and it's not a 68 plus. I will go out and say that, but still a very nice coin right here. It's also CAC green stickered as well, double certified. Just an overall really great type piece, and there are folks that collect Mercury dimes and are looking for something like this to kind of put it all together, so to speak. This one right here sold for $18,562.50. Yeah, you heard that right. That is worth all that in a bag of chips. And we do have a few really nice high-end teens Mercury dimes, just branch mid beauties with full split bands. Again, these are some of the tougher ones. These aren't the highest grade specimens, but they are out there and ready for a discerning collector. And sure enough, they hit it home pretty well. So this 18S here, again, it looks like it was minted yesterday, which is the look that a lot of people do like. They just like that blast white appearance. This one sold for $7,177.50. And to go along with that, too, again, another key date Mercury dime that's not, all right, because it's not a Denver. This is a San Francisco minted 1916 Mercury dime. And this one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 full bands, also CAC green stickered. Again, looks like it was minted yesterday, and this is kind of like the premium choice for a lot of folks out there, that just don't care about toning. I'm okay with that. I think this is a gorgeous coin. Certainly deserved to be on this list. And this one ended up selling for $11,530.12. All right, we're going to wrap it off on a few of the Washington quarters, and we also have a couple standing liberties. So how about we go ahead and talk about our featured coin for the week, being this 1968D Washington quarter, and you probably read that correctly. This is a doubled die reverse. There are a cool number of doubled dies from the 60s, from 1965 to 66, 60AD that you see here. They are very expensive coins, especially in mid-state condition. And it's not likely you're going to find a lot of these in mid-state condition anyways. Very few rolls were saved after the conversion to the copper-nickel clad era. But when you do find one with the varieties that I speak of, these become extremely extravagant pieces for any collection. This one right here is the Mid-State 66 through PCGS. You can see it's also the FS801, which is a Cherry Picker's Guide variety. And I'm happy to say that this one was able to go to a new home for only $2,814.75. And this is a really neat one here too. All right, so there's 3 different motto types for the 1934, along with a few very notable doubled dies. So this is the one that we don't see too often, and that's the light motto Washington of the 34 that you see here. Just by looking at the words "In God We Trust," it is indeed light. It's not particularly strong on the strike, and this one right here exhibits exactly what a light motto should be. Now, this one is a beast as a mid-state 67 plus. All right, there's going to be a few Washington quarter enthusiasts that collect just the high-end stuff or registry sets that will need this because this is no doubt one of the premier grades of this particular variety type. This one right here ended up selling for $5,287.50 tonight. And again, this is probably something that we'll see maybe once more in the next 6 months. They don't pop up that often, and oftentimes they'll be in a much lower grade. Now, speaking of a coin that looks like it was minted yesterday, how about a premier key date 1923S Standing Liberty quarter? Wow, what a superb example for not having a full head. All right, most of the examples that you'll see come from the 1920s. Like 23S, 26, those dates. Oftentimes you're not going to find any with full head. They're just really, really tough dates, especially San Francisco minted examples. They're just really scarce. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 66. It's also got the CAC CAC green sticker on there. This one was a really, really good sale at $5,400. All right, so we are going to end it off on, of course, a biggie, big one here. 1916 Standing Liberty quarter is the kind of like the top pick of keys at only 52,000 mintage. All right, it's not a variety. It's not a different kind of transitional type. It's just a brand new Standing Liberty quarter that took over, from the just lackluster Barber series, and they weren't produced to a really good, decent quality. It's almost like they threw out a little test supply into circulation. At 52,000 is nothing. That's not a lot at all. This one right here, check out the stats. PCGS Mid-State 63 full head. This is going to be kind of like that foundational piece to any Standing Liberty quarter series, let alone a really high-end type piece all around. You'll notice that this one doesn't have the 3 stars under the eagle. Okay, that's normal for this one. And this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $18,000. All right, another 5-figure coin to wrap up the Monday market report. And that does wrap things up for today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in on another fantastic week. It hardly looks like summer market activity, period. Very, very nice, strong prices on some rather marquee, not only registry set coins, but some of the premier U.S. type pieces out there. I would say, yeah, it's still a good time to sell. If you're looking to sell, now's a good time to take advantage of the market while it's still robust. But yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notification to my channel or this video if you haven't done so already. I'm also on TikTok. Come follow me at BlueRidgeSilverhound, all one word. But that's it, guys. That's all I got for you. If you're watching this on a Monday, don't work so hard. Enjoy your week. Enjoy a little bit of summertime action. And I will see you guys next time on a more coin fun. All right. See you guys.